You gotta get the blood pumping. You gotta get your heart rate up. You really need to be exercising on a regular basis. Hey guys, Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and let's talk about visceral fat. Doesn't that sound like an exciting topic? Well, first of all, let's define what it is. So basically you have two major categories of fat. The first one is subcutaneous fat. So that's the stuff that you can pinch and, you know, it's on your butt and your stomach. It's the fat that's just under the surface of the skin. And that's what the vast majority of your body fat is, subcutaneous. But there's also visceral fat. And that's the fat that's like in your stomach cavity. It's around all the organs. It's deep fat. It's deep inside of you. You can't really feel it or pinch it or even see it. And unfortunately, because even though it's hidden, it's actually probably worse for you or more dangerous for you than the subcutaneous fat. And that's because visceral fat can do all kinds of things. It can cause type 2 diabetes. It can cause cancer. It can cause heart disease. It can cause plaque to form in your arteries. So there's lots of bad things that can happen if you have too much visceral fat, but how do you know? I think typically they're related. So if you got a big old gut and you got a bunch of fat you can pinch, you probably have too much visceral fat, but it's not always the case. When I was doing my research on this topic today, there are people who, they're not ripped, okay, but they have a relatively flat stomach and still have way too much visceral fat. So this is the way you can measure it. And it's not easy, but almost everybody in a major city will have access to it. And it's called a DEXA scan. All right, so this is the output. This is the printout from a DEXA scan. And they're not cheap. I think they're about 75 or 80 bucks. Okay, I've done it 4 times. And I did it at the same location. So they have all my results here. It's really cool. I like all this scientific stuff. And you basically lay flat and a little arm slowly goes over your body. It takes about 5 or 6 minutes. And it directly measures muscle, bone, internal organs, and fat. And it can distinguish all those things separately, okay? And it gives you this really kind of cool scientific looking printout. And it even tells you how much fat is in your arms, your legs, your torso, and it measures your visceral fat, all right? So this is on the second page. They actually have a whole write-up about visceral fat and why it's really bad for you and what it can do. I basically just told you. And so anyway, these are my, now I'm not gonna tell you this just to brag. I'm just telling you, you know, what it is on me. So my body fat, my total body fat, okay, was right around here. I'm 59. Total, but now as a percentage of my total weight, it is total region body. I'm kind of in the high 8s, you know, 8.8. You know, this is year after year after year. I range anywhere from a low of 8.3 to a high of 9.4% body fat, okay? And so my total fat, and I was weighing about 194 pounds. That's about what I am now. My total fat mass was anywhere from 16 pounds to all the way up to 18 pounds of fat, total fat. But how much of that is visceral fat? Well, that's the next page. Next page, my visceral fat mass in pounds, anywhere from a low of 0.6 pounds, less than 1 pound, to a high of 1.1 pounds, okay? So guys, it's really neat. They give you all these statistics about how you compare to other guys in your age range and all that kind of stuff. But I highly recommend you do it. You don't have to do it every single year like I like to do it, but just do it once and see where you are. Then you have a benchmark, okay? And you can use that as a reference, because if you know you're, say, 25% body fat and you know what your weight is, okay, then as you lose weight, okay, you don't have to go back and do the DEXA scan again. You can easily calculate what your new body fat percentage is just because you know where you started and you know how much fat you lost, so you can come up with the new percentage. So guys, I'm gonna give you 3 tips on how to work on your visceral fat, but they really kind of also work on subcutaneous fat at the same time. You know, it's really hard to target certain types of fat versus others. So all three tips are going to be good for basically just losing body fat. Okay, so tip number one is sleep. So scientists did a study and they followed several hundred people for 6 years. So most studies are much more short-lived than that. That's what makes this study kind of interesting and more significant, because it was a long-term study. So they followed all these people for 6 years, and they measured the amount of visceral fat gain, how much fat they put on during that 6-year period, because most people are adding fat. The older they get, the fatter they get. That's just the way it is. So these people weren't being subjected to any special exercise routine or diets or anything. These were just your normal, average, everyday Americans that aren't really taking care of themselves. And the people who went from 6 hours of sleep a night on average and increased that to between 7 and 8 hours a night, those people, that group, saw a much lower increase in visceral fat. Matter of fact, 26% lower. So guys, sleep is good for all kinds of reasons. That also, you know, sleep also helps lower your cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone, and cortisol really helps promote your body's need or desire to hold on to fat. So, you know, cortisol is always bad for you, and sleep helps lower cortisol. Sleep also helps with minimizing the amount of visceral fat that you add on a yearly basis. All right, tip number two, surprise, surprise, exercise. You gotta work out, guys. You gotta get the blood pumping. You gotta get your heart rate up. You really need to be exercising on a regular basis. And by regular, I don't mean twice a week. That's not nearly enough. Even 3 times a week, nah, you really need to be exercising 5 times a week minimum, all right? 6 or 7 times a week is just fine also. It doesn't have to be killer hard workouts, all right? But you just got to move. And aerobic exercise is also really good for losing body fat. So most of my programs and most of my videos talk about doing high intensity interval training, which is not aerobic, it's anaerobic, okay? But nice, slow, steady state, low intensity cardio is also really good for losing body fat. All right, now I don't recommend you guys go out and run, you know, 8 to 10 miles a day, 5 days a week, because when you overdo it, that's when you can cause your body to create cortisol. You're stressing your body by overworking it, hence the cortisol, and the cortisol, you know, screws up everything. So guys, we have a bunch of different workout programs. So Gary Walker and myself both have at least 2 programs, workout programs. Check it out on the website. Click the link below this video and just kind of read the description of the workouts. Gary's workouts typically focus on gym-based workouts, okay? So you're gonna need a lot more equipment with Gary's workouts. Some of you guys have got fantastic garage with all kinds of weights in it so you can work out at home. But a lot of you guys will do Gary's workouts at a gym, where my workouts are home-based focused. You need very little equipment, all right, to do my workouts. So it's just kind of whatever floats your boat, guys. So we have a bunch of fantastic workout programs, and these are not just new. These things have been around for years, and we have sold tens of thousands of these workout programs to men all over the world with just absolutely glowing reviews and fantastic results. So guys, you got to move. That is the key. All right, third tip, water. Drink water, lots of water, guys. I find myself not really being thirsty, okay? And you know, you probably have the same, you know, issues. And if you're not thirsty, you know, you just don't go drink water. Well, by the time you get thirsty, it means you're dehydrated. It's too late, all right? So guys, I just keep water kind of at my desk near my computer all the time. And I don't even consciously force myself to drink the water. It's really weird. As long as I got water there, as I'm typing and working and just doing my stuff, I just naturally grab it and just, you know, and before you know it, after about 20 or 30 minutes, I'll just look over and it's empty, all right? I wasn't forcing myself to drink. It just disappeared. And the other trick I like to do for myself is I've gotten really spoiled when it comes to water. So I go buy flavored carbonated water at the grocery store. It's cheap, it's the store brand. It's got 0 sugar, 0 calories. And because it tastes so good, I'm kind of craving it, all right? So if it tastes great, you're gonna drink more of it. Now, a lot of you guys are lucky. You can just chug the water and you're happy campers. I've just gotten spoiled over the years just because I happen to find this carbonated water that tastes so great. But guys, water plays a significant role in your body's ability to burn fat as a source of energy instead of just using carbohydrates. All right, so that's the key, guys. You know, when you're doing tip number 2 and you're exercising, you're doing your cardio, whatever it is, you know, your body needs a source of energy, all right, to contract the muscles. So it can either use carbohydrates or it can use fat, all right? So if you stay hydrated, your body is gonna be way more efficient at using fat as partial source of energy, okay? Same thing goes with testosterone levels. Any way we can keep our testosterone levels high, our body is just naturally better at using fat as a source of energy than if your T levels are really low. And drinking lots of water and staying hydrated throughout the day is a good way to do that. Now guys, 3 simple tips here. There's not a lot to it. This is a real short, little to the point, pithy video. But if you stick with them and never give up on yourselves, I promise you can get that body fat down, including the internal, deep, visceral fat.